Welcome to CrossTech Payments 2023. It is my honor and pleasure to have you sitting next to us on this interview, Lindsay from PCMI, with us today.
Thank
so
you.
I wanted to for you to introduce yourself to our audience. As you know, we are main players in the P2P market. We have a tradition of following on the regular money remittance companies, and now we took a risk. We said we believe the future of P2P and the future of payments is in the B2B market. So I met you recently, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about your experience, about you, so that way our following can get to know you and how you have paved your way into business payments as well.
Great.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm really pleased to be here. My name is Lindsay Lehr. I'm the Managing Director of PCMI, or Payments and Commerce Market Intelligence. And we are the leading market intelligence and strategy consulting firm for the payments industry in Latin America. And we've expanded outside of Latin America recently to cover APAC, Africa, Europe. And really what we do is in-depth research to help companies understand where their industry is moving. I started in this industry 10 years ago, and in the last 5 years, it's just transformed, and companies need direction. And direction, some of the data you guys were sharing, the B2B payment space is in the trillions.
Yes.
But what does that mean for a company who's trying to pave their way? It's almost meaningless. Okay, it's big. It's big and it's exciting. We know it's growing, but where is my niche? Where does my product match market needs? And we try to identify trends and make predictions so that companies can align and move where they need to go, because what I've noticed in the past really 24 months, cross-border payments, P2P and B2B, have just exploded. Yeah. There's more use cases than ever. There are more corridors available than ever. So it can be quite intimidating. So we try to just bring all that down to earth and give companies a roadmap.
And I think, Lindsay, I wanted to touch on that because the speed is something that I hear a lot in all of the panels and the talks, especially for companies that are growing into a new corridor or are competing within a corridor. And nowadays, the competition is so big that you're not really fighting for price. You're fighting for a competitive advantage and for how fast you're going. Mm-hmm. What have you seen in some of the trends and the studies you have done that has really helped companies beat that time to market? Can you share an example?
So, I've noticed that it's so much about the relationships that you develop. A lot of companies, they get that one client and they do a good job, and then that client wants to open a new corridor or wants to go somewhere new. Companies do have a difficult time differentiating because a lot of times the services are similar, and nowadays the expectation is real time.
Yes.
So if you're real time, you can't compete on price that much. Okay, there's some value-added services that are starting to be interesting. So what I'm noticing is the real competitive advantage is relationships. Yes. Who do you vibe with and who do you want to do business with, and the corridor or use case, because gambling is completely different than SaaS, than an enterprise payment, than e-commerce, than travel, and you have to have deep expertise in certain verticals to be able to perform well, and that means you have to know which verticals are growing and know how to match your product with where the market's going.
And I think yesterday on the workshop, I know we did with you talking about the market, talking about some of the research we've seen, but we also talk about partnerships. Mm-hmm. And within the partnership workshop, we said two things I think that was key into how do you build trustworthy partnerships so you can beat time to market. Mm-hmm. And one of them is trust, and the second one is empathy. Mm-hmm. And even for us as consultants, like we are consultants ourselves as well in CrossTech, sometimes you love to continue doing that consulting project because you and your client partners well. I think that goes the same for payment platforms, right? If you're going to connect your business to the payment platform, you have to make sure that you're focused on the same priorities. So this is something that we touch base a lot in CrossTech because our main value is to provide networking opportunities and connect the solution to the partners. And a lot of it is, making sure that the human connections are there so they can continue to grow business. So another question about business payments. So tell me why. For us, it was a risk. We didn't know what it was gonna come out of this conference. We just had the vision. Mm-hmm. So why do you share the same vision with us on why business payments?
Why business payments? I mean, P2P is the first everything consumer related is kind of the first step, but behind that, the business opportunity is usually 10 times larger than the retail opportunity. And it's a lot more complicated, it's a lot more difficult, but it's just a bigger market. It's more transaction volume. There's also more opportunity, I think, for profitability, because right now fees are coming down on remittances all over the world, pushed by the United Nations and the World Bank. And so with everything becoming digitalized, cost is going down all over the place. So companies are going to be increasingly looking for higher margin markets, and business is certainly one of them. And it's also just a much larger market that's only now starting to become digitized. That's another reason, and it's becoming disrupted for the first time. So there's new opportunity for a lot of new players to come and break up old paradigms. That is going to take a while because it's so deeply entrenched, but it's only getting started. We have a lot of exciting years ahead.
And that's why I feel very proud, because we took a risk, but I feel I'm beating time to market. Because as you know, there's a lot of conferences out there, but no one is really niche to business payments. And this is what we try to do for this conference. Not only in some of the sponsors we got, Neum, we have the product launch from Lindsay Lehr, but also all of our talks and our panels have been very focused on finding solutions for that area. So now tell me about CrossTech Payments. This is your first time with us.
It's our first time
in our conference. I would love to hear your experience.
Yeah, we've had a great time here, honestly. I had several clients who were here, and several companies who, leads, prospects, just good industry friends that I had the opportunity to really spend decent time with over these 2 days. It's quite an intimate environment, so you really see the same faces throughout the day, and I've had really quality conversations, and I got to share some of our expertise, and I think some folks were inspired by that, so this just really inspired some really nice interactions.
And I also wanted to say that you inspired as well. So by watching some of your talks, I love to see women positioning themselves as market leaders. And I think this industry is something that I'm passionate about, that I'm growing and hoping for. So that's why I want you to know that this platform is always open for women like you to be continue to making a difference in cross-border payments. We're honored to have you with us, and I hope to see you next time.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.